to the channel. It is episode 2 of my slightly abandoned and very broken ST150. We bought this thing in the last episode for £600 off a driveway, and it had been sat there for a while. I knew the clutch had sort of gone, or at least something had gone clutch-wise. And today, I'm gonna have a good look through this thing, see what's wrong with it, see if there's anything else that's wrong with it, because I know the clutch and, you know, various other things may be slightly broken in this car. So we're about to find out really what is wrong underneath this thing, as well as taking the gearbox off and actually making sure this thing isn't too broken that I financially cripple myself in this video. No one needs that on the channel, do they? Let's be honest. So let's quickly have a look underneath this thing, make sure we're on the right page, make sure that I am getting myself financially into this car, and just really diagnosing a few things. Now what I've actually done is left it with the guys just to make sure we're at a point where I can show you guys straight away that everything is off, everything is ready to go, and I've got some sort of understanding as to what is broken and what I need to buy next for the ST150. So let's take you guys around and show you everything that's wrong with my £600 ST150. We're interrupting today's video, guys, to say a massive thank you to today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. With thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and much more. So who's Skillshare for? Well, it's mainly for creative and curious people, lifelong learners, real working and creative minds, all the way from beginners to pros to dabblers, all the way up to the masters. Skillshare classes include a combination of video lessons and class projects, and Skillshare also have classes to fit your schedule and skill level. Members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. Most classes are under 60 minutes with short lessons to fit any schedule. People always ask me how I got into YouTube. Well, if I had the jump start that Skillshare gives everybody out there, I would have been able to learn about film, video, illustration and graphic design very, very quickly. Trying out one of the courses for myself on Skillshare's website. This course is taught by Jordi van der Booden. The course is aimed at newbies in the industry and shows everything from basic edits all the way up to creating multiple layers in the video editing software and creating animations to bring your film to life. There is actually an offer on right now to the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description and in the pinned comment. You will get a 1-month free subscription to Skillshare. So if you're ever out there wondering how to get into YouTube, how to get into the film industry, and you want to learn how to hone in your passion and maybe even create a business out of it, hit the link in the description. It's free, it's easy, it's simple, and use Skillshare to your advantage and learn something new today. Thanks very much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to the action. So starting, as you can see, the car is fully up on the ramp. Now I was going to bring it down for the first initial bit of the video, but I think you guys sort of understand that the engine has been dropped sideways to make room for the gearbox to come out, and it's been propped up with the hoist crane thingy to make sure the engine doesn't fall out the bottom of the car, basically. But as you can see, the engine has been taken off its mount and actually sat to one side. And as you can see, if we come round, the gearbox is actually out of the car right now, and the clutch has been taken off. Now what I'm going to say first off is, although you can see a bit of wood there, that's actually just holding the engine away just so we can get the gearbox out, you know, a couple of seconds ago when I started videoing. But as you can see, we actually have the drive shafts out of both sides. This is obviously needed to take the actual gearbox off, and as you can see, if we come down, the driver's side drive shaft is actually relatively new, if not brand new, which is a really good sign. It means that this car has well, at least had some sort of money spent on it in the not so recent past, which is nice. Now, clutch wise, I wasn't too sure how far we'd have to go with the clutch. I knew we'd have to put one in, but in further investigation, the slave cylinder is gone, and yeah, the clutch is completely, it's not completely dead. I think it's probably got a couple of thousand miles on it, but obviously I'm not going to put that back in the car. And as you can see that the clutch has, yeah, there's quite a lot of wear on that. So of course, I'm not going to put that back in the car. We're going to put a full 3-piece clutch kit back in with a new slave, and everything, just to make sure that this is completely happy, because of course I don't want to put that in, or just put that in and not put a new one of them in, so I'm just going to replace the whole thing. It's about 107, I think it's about £200 all in for the replacement slave and a 3-piece clutch kit in theory, so all of those bits and that bit. Now we'll be ordering that very soon, so that comes in at around 2 days, because we're on the Isle of Wight, it can't come in straight away. So we are around 2 days away from this actually going back together. Now, as well as the clutch kit that I'm just about to buy, I will be buying a servicing kit as well, because although I have a little bit of history, mainly word of mouth, like, oh yes, I've you know, serviced this thing, and this isn't, you know, isn't too bad. There is a little bit of seepage there. We will be replacing this, as well as all of the fluids in this car, because again, I wouldn't want to drive this thing around and find out that it hasn't been serviced and it's not very happy. So that is one of those things that I will be replacing straight away, as well as all of this clutch gubbins. We will be replacing this filter and all of the other filters that may be needed, and all of the oils. Now we will put the car back up in the air properly, because I'll show you guys underneath, and just to show you guys the general condition, I am actually really impressed, considering this has got, you know, 116, I think it is, 1,000 miles on it. There isn't actually too much in the way of damage, rust, and just, you know, questionable mechanic skills from previous generations. Again, these cars, I feel like they're at a point where a lot of people could do this sort of thing on their driveway. It's sort of the 106 GTI era, in my opinion. This is the follow-on era where everybody had these. I think they were getting cheap enough, and you know, you never really know the history of one of these performance hot hatches. So yeah, brake-wise, not too bad on the brakes. Discs and pads seem to be relatively new on the front, although they were, you know, again, rusty before we actually brought the car into here. They're actually in pretty good condition, which is a really, really good thing. The back brakes are, again, all right. This has actually had a caliper this side, which is quite good. As you can see, it's silver rather than the painted blue that the other ones are. So I've actually got the guys to check that, and yeah, they seem to be really fine. They, you know, not pitted at all. There's not too much damage at all on the discs and the pads there, which is always a good shout, because when you do park a car up, sometimes it deteriorates a lot quicker than actually driving one round. I know that from the past. I must say as well, there's no play in the flywheel, which is really good. So this time round, I won't be replacing the flywheel. There's just no point in me spending more money when it's not needed, especially on this car. So I will not be replacing the flywheel, but we will be replacing everything else clutch-wise. Looking around, you know, this car had an MOT not too long ago, so all of the ball joints and everything, I've got the guys to check it over just to make sure we know what we're working with and if I need to spend any more money on it. And yeah, everything ball joint wise, all of the joints here, everything, all of the joints at the sides, everything seems to be in pretty good condition. And in fact, if we come round underneath the back of the car, the only slight bits that I've found is the toe and I's got a little bit of surface rust on it, which isn't anything crazy. This is actually, and I know there are people out there like, oh, it looks really grubby and stuff, but structurally and, you know, rust wise, it's actually in very good condition back here on standard suspension, where it looks like standard springs, but it has a Miltech. Now, Miltechs are, you know, relatively expensive for one. I should come down here and show you proper Miltech rear section, so that's cool to have on the car. They're around what, 300 quid I think they were, if I looked on eBay last time at how much these were. That's not a bad shout. I'm glad that it's in really good condition as well. It's not really too old. As we come down, it does still have the standard cat, which is, again, quite a nice sign. There is red bushings for the exhausts, so I can only imagine that there is some sort of replacement exhaust rubbers on the back of this thing. And just simple things. Tyres are in good condition. The wheels, you know, could do with a little slight refurb, if not a good clean down. All of the struts seem to be good. No weeping from the shocks. And if I'm honest, I'm really, really impressed with how the underneath of this car is. Someone at some point has really taken some pride in this thing, so that makes me really happy. As you can see, this side, everything is down on the engine bay, but there's a lot of wiring for a sub, I can only imagine that's what it was, and for the neon lights that seem to be around this car, so we will be taking all of that out as well. And lastly, I'll show you guys around the bodywork, because although we did look around this thing when I bought it, there's a few things to point out, like the toe and eye cover seems to be missing, a few grille related issues, but nothing too crazy. Few scratches on the door, but again, I do think we'll be able to get most of this out with a really good deep clean on this thing. And if I'm honest, other than that, it's in really good condition. I'm, again, so surprised at how affordable this was to buy, and the fact that there isn't too much wrong with it apart from a clutch and a servicing kit and, you know, just various other little bits and bobs. I think we might be all right in this. Of course, labour costs and pricing and that, we're going to be over £1,000 at least, maybe closer to 12, maybe £1,300 at the end of this part, but that's before the dents are out and before the cleaning process and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, other than that though, I'm really happy. So that's episode 2 of the very cheap, slightly abandoned, slightly broken ST150. I hope you guys enjoy this style of video. If you do, please let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you would like to see more of on this car or any other car. If you want me to go and maybe pursue another car like this, please let me know. And again, if you do, you know, like this at all, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. I appreciate you guys big time. Episode 3 is coming up once all of the parts and stuff are here, and we're a bit further on into getting this thing running and driving with the servicing, with the clutch and everything inside the car, so we can go and enjoy it and see what that Miltech sounds like as well. But as ever guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I'll see you on the next one.